Hello, my name is Carter Dugan from Northeast High School, and I am enrolled in an online speech class at Labette Community College. In this speech, I will be explaining why voting should be mandatory. In this speech, I would like to explain how voting should be something everyone does. It is very important in the United States. If much of the Americans in the country do not vote in the election, democracy will not work as it should. If only around half of the country vote, the one campaigning may listen more to some that are participating than others who are not participating. Voting should also be mandatory because if someone didn't like the president or either presidents that are running, then they could vote for somebody else or donate to somebody else's campaign. As like this year, many people don't like either president, so they could still vote for a different president, and it would still count towards that president, and they wouldn't have to vote for somebody that they didn't want to. So even that, though it's not likely for another president to be elected this year, they would still be able to vote for somebody that they actually liked. And that's a good thing to do because, you don't really want to vote for somebody that you just think's going to ruin the country. So voting is already mandatory in around 25 other countries. Mandatory voting would make politicians listen to everyone instead of just the higher class who would usually vote. People as well would be more involved and pay closer attention to who they were voting for or what politicians were actually running for instead of basing it off what their families say. If the United States were like Australia, then if you didn't cast a ballot, you'd have to pay a fine. Also, one's running for the presidential election would be able to hear from all eligible voters rather than around the 60% that you would usually vote or cast their ballots. Making it mandatory to vote would increase voter turnout. After the 2016 election, there's only about a 55% turnout. The number of voters has been declining year after year. Making voting mandatory would make everyone happy. It would make sure that everyone is happy instead of just the ones who voted for the president. The president would represent the majority of the people instead of half the country, almost. Making voting mandatory would make campaigns not need as much money to run. Money is what makes campaigns run, really. So if voting actually did become mandatory, millionaires or billionaires wouldn't really have to back campaigns as much because they would have more other people like donating to them. It would make it harder on the presidents running or the presidents campaigning because they would actually have to make everyone happy instead of just the subgroups that they have to make happy now. It also encouraged people to find out more about the presidents and actually vote for someone because of what they will do during their presidency rather than just because their parents vote for them or which one they think is more popular or who their friends think are the better president. Making people vote will lead to more united nation instead of just a few groups being happy about the president. After all of this, you should also believe that voting should be mandatory in the United States. This year, there will probably be riots either way if Donald Trump wins or Joe Biden wins, but there's still only going to be around a 60% voter turnout. If we want to make everyone happy, we need to make everyone vote because everyone's vote counts. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I can't wait to watch your guys' speech, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of the year. Thank you.